more expected to go into the hands of Doinb. So this time around, TT may be signaling that they do want to play more around their bottom side. We have not seen SamD and Patch bring out this bottom lane either. But with the champions that have been left open, FPX is going to instantly go towards that Lee Sin and might even just run back what they did in game one, because something we highlighted earlier in the day, right, is the way we've seen kog'maw comps attacked a lot of times is by taking that Akali early on and punishing these immobile hyper carries with champions that have an easy time of getting onto the backline.
Yeah, but the Senna here, I like from the side of FPX. It has been one of the few things so far this split that Lwx has looked very, very comfortable on. And as a team, FPX feel very comfortable playing around. They just feel very supportive, of course. Has a lot of different ways of scaling into. And, you know, once you get towards those late game team fights where the kog'maw should be doing a lot of damage, you can mitigate a lot of that and also put down a lot of pressure with that, with the Qs and, of course, the Ws coming in here when being able to put out all the shrouds. But the Senna Tahm Kench locked in. The Nocturne is going to be locked here again for TT. Not a great game from Langx on it. He was definitely not really having a great time up against Nuguri Lee Sin, but with the help of Xiaopeng, they were able to make it work. And now we'll start to see now where FPX want to put those bans. I imagine they are going to continue to try and pile in onto these jungle bans to make sure that Xiaopeng doesn't have the same presence or same start he had in the first game.
Yeah, they're going to take away some of these junglers that are also able to act as frontliners, like the Zinzao. I do want to say, I feel like after you see the Lulu as FPX, maybe you just all in on the Nocturne Akali coming out. The rough thing about that is that Lulu can still be put into a soul lane and just take out things like the Akali in lane, but now I wonder where FPX will go, because the Akali already taken off the board. I would expect TT to ban the Sylas here, and then as FPX, the only champion that comes to mind in mid lane that still acts as like a pseudo diver all in on the kog'maw would be going back to the Kled. But both Kled and Sylas left open for FPX if they do just want to keep all-inning on champions that can be able to hit the kog'maw on the side of TT.
Might not see the Kled, but if they do lock in this Aurelia from Nuguri, we could see the Lee Sin going towards... I know, I want them to. I want them to. I want them to. It's what I want in this game, but no, it shall not happen. The Orianna locked in here does mean that Lee Sin will flex all the way to the end, so it could be going to Doinb, could be going to Nuguri. The Akali has been taken off the board, so TT very much aware of his Man of the Rift performance in that game one, as TT now tried to round out their composition. I wouldn't mind seeing them have a little bit more, I was going to say, engaged. The Sett has slipped through the bans, and this is exactly the kind of dive buddy you need to combo with a Nocturne.
And the thing is, it's also another champion that can provide peel, can create space for SamD to be able to play the game in later stages, because I was looking through champions thinking, okay, they need a tank, they need a frontliner, they want something that can buy space. But like you said, Sett going through draft is the perfect thing. And now in terms of junglers, not too many AP champions left open with the Nidalee off the table. The only real thing there is the Lilia, but instead, they're actually going to flex the Nocturne into the jungle, something we've seen a little bit of, but not all too much. It has mostly been a top laner, and they're going to pair it with the Orianna. So not only having a pretty good dive, having the setup for the Orianna balls, while having another shield for kog'maw coming in, and they actually are going to end up putting Doinb onto the Lee Sin, and Nuguri going to take the Gnar into the top lane, so going to try to abuse out in that ranged versus melee matchup. And when we look at FPX's composition, it's all topside focused, obviously, but especially indexed into Tien being set up to be that big carry in the mid game. And then if it goes late enough, right, it's all about Lwx and how many stacks he can get on the Senna. I think TT's composition is a lot more straightforward. It has two modes where it can play out, because if FPX either botcha play, overstep, if TT can find an advantage early game, it can function as that engaged comp that you were hitting on, but you also just do have a lot of peel. You have Orianna with their shield, Sett can just sit in front of the kog'maw and create a barrier from getting onto him. You can even use the paranoia defensively and try to help in that way. So I think TT's composition this time around is something that I do like more than what FPX have brought out.
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking at the side of FPX's composition, and like at late game, how do you burn through the shields that will be coming in here from the kog'maw? Like, there's no real kind of go-to Serpent's Fangs user that you could really kind of, you know, index into, and it's going to become a very, very difficult time for them if they do end up kind of, you know, going later in onto this game. But like you said, they have got the tools now available to them to create a advantage for TN. It's going to be, we saw earlier today with JJ, very, very powerful champion in the jungle and can do a lot if given the resources.
I definitely think we're going to have to be looking towards LWX speed, someone to pick up a Serpent's Fang decently early on in this game. And if TT are able to execute their game plan and this game is able to go the distance a little bit, it's all going to be on LWX's shoulders. So, you know, there's other possibilities, of course. You know, Nuguri can come in with a massive Mega Gnar ultimate, and that can combo with what TN wants to do. The Dawning Shadows on Senna comes out on top of it, and then maybe you're able to burst out SamD or Yet in that exchange. But any extended fight that, you know, like after the initial burst comes out on both sides should definitely be favored for TT later on. And we're going to see FPX. Looks like they were kind of hovering around bot side for if they could catch TT out. We are also going to see Patch running the Ignite, which I don't think is all too surprising. You definitely have a advantageous bot lane matchup this time around by having the Lulu up against the Tahm Kench.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit easier for them to... And we talked about it in our earlier series, but of course the Lulu kog'maw has a lot more priority into a lane than you would probably expect it to be. And that's a big thing that people kind of forget about, is that yes, it's a massive late game monster, but it still has that early game prowess, that early game potency to be able to make opportunities and create, you know, situations that will end up being helpful to your team. And for TT, it's all about making sure that they can maybe limit as much as possible this... this Senna stacking, maybe get a couple of early plates and be the first ones to roam out, because the longer this laning phase goes, the happier the side of FPX and specifically LWX will be.
Yeah, 100%. And for FPX, we're definitely going to have to see if they can find things going early on. They don't have a ton of setup for the Diana in any lane, so I think you could potentially look for plays around the mid lane especially. We saw earlier in the day how that works out with Scout on the Lee Sin performing exceptionally in setting up many ganks for JJ. Get behind once you have that kick up available. Chaining with TN coming in with the burst and comboing his Moonfall, and that's really when we're going to start to see FPX's comp get a lot of mileage out of the champions they're running. So both compositions are kind of fine. Just clearing out, I'd say, your first two rotations of jungle camps. And for TT, it's going to be about your bot lane winning on that 1v1. For FPX, it's going to be about Nuguri being able to get his advantage in the range versus melee matchup, or if Langx can find some sort of face breaker into nice engage while Nuguri is in mini form.
See how they want to go. As we now see the priority very much going in favor of TT. You saw a bit of early kind of, you know, back and forth thing and skirmishing happening, but it really is difficult for the F side of FPX to sustain that long term, and this is where your advantage kind of comes in for TT. It's going to be down to TN and the rest of FPX's solo lanes to really kind of find themselves in a, you know, an advantage around the map, as TN will finish up clearing his Gromp and find himself a nice early scuttle as well. So going to be on an equal footing to Xiaopeng, as we now go and see what does either side want to do. And it's almost kind of, it's a crazy thing to me as well. Like, by the time these first clears are done, like, you get your level 6 so quickly in the game from what I remember when I used to play it years ago. And it does mean that the game just gets very far accelerated should someone end up getting snowballed. And for Doinb, it's going to be very easy for him to be able to kind of bully out the Orianna. Like you mentioned earlier before, once he hit those levels, he gets those extra points of W to be able to clear the wave. And it's going to be what he can do with that priority around the map that's important. And for FPX, they will be definitely, you could see them, as we mentioned just before we went out, they were not happy with how they won that last game. And I imagine they're going to try and maybe clean up their act just a little bit as they come into game 2.
And TT actually making a play towards mid. Doinb is totally fine, though. I also like that before the resets came off, we actually saw Xiaopeng path back towards top side. He sat in Tri-Brush, but Nuguri with a really smart reset, so he didn't end up going down to the ganks. And it's going to pan out the way we expected, right? Both teams feeling secure to just go through the first two rotations of their jungle camps relatively fine. FPX are finally posturing for a gank up topside, but Langx as a ward, he's doing fine. I think that was a ward that was dropped potentially by Xiaopeng last time he was there, or maybe Langx just hovered and got it, but now we're going to see Xiaopeng having a slight advantage in terms of his clear because he is already on his Raptors. And maybe with Nuguri's wave bouncing back towards TT, that is where Xiaopeng can set up his next plan of attack once he makes his way up there.
A much slower game this time around. I think both sides very happy to scale up. But just as I say that, we do see Nuguri trying to see if he can... Yeah.
Penguin, Nuguri started call, at least bought a call now. I think he bought that off his reset, right? So...
Yeah.
that shows that FPX know, hey, you know, at least these first few minutes we are totally fine farming up. It also shows he knows he's very safe in the lane. It doesn't need any dueling. But Xiaopeng is here like we expected. Flash face breaker. Oh god, he's dead.
Nuguri. He's
dead.
Trying to run away. He's got flash and he's got hop available to him. So now we can see where he wants to go. And oh, the Dustbringer misses. Does not hit the Qs. Does not get the extra little bit of movement speed. Nuguri should be able to get out. No, never mind.
Dead.
He has been hit now. He gets hit by the tower, just wasting as much time as possible. Xiaopeng picks up first blood. But Tien knows with all that time that's been spent on the top side and the priority he has just found himself with mid and bot, he can get this dragon for free.
You know what I liked? I liked my flash face breaker call Penguin. It was super play-by-play-esque of me, but, you know, I did get a little bit... Thank you, sir. Did get a little bit too excited right away once Nocturne did miss that Q, thinking, hey, Nuguri's out of here. But sadly, there was still an Orianna in the mid lane. There was really no safe way for him to escape, so it does go down in the end. FPX, gonna answer with the Drake is nice, but ooh, I like what TT are doing. They're just going to go back to the same strat as game on. They're just trying to take Nuguri out of the game. Doesn't even matter if you go for the dive. What?
2v3, and it's actually a 2-for-1. We do see them now trying to equal out onto the top side. You don't have Mega just yet. He has gone into it. No, he's not going to be able to get it. And the last turret shot does not take down Xiaopeng. Nice little move here by TT, reactively making a play on the other side of the map. We talked about that so many times, but I want to see how that bot lane started out because TT getting a trade back is huge.
Yeah, and we see it looks like Doinb just gave up mid-wave, gave up, you know, like, a few CS to make a TP play down towards bot side because his TP is gone. And we are going to get the replay coming in. Lwx and Chris just looking for it. Lwx gets chunked so low. And, I mean, he gets taken down by Sam D because of it. Still, FPX are going to be able to pick up 2 kills in return, but I think that feels pretty nice as Sam D to get that one. And I don't even think he lost out on too much XP. It looks like he died after a lot of the wave already had gone down to turret as well. So... you know, sure, missed out on a little bit of gold, but got it back with the kill. Didn't miss out on too much XP. And I think Sam D's feeling fine with that play. He still has his flash as well.
Yeah, still has everything. Fun fact as well, when he goes into his passive where he, you know, turns into his other skin and blows up, he still gains XP while he's in that form. So is actually good at just kind of delaying it if should any minions end up going down onto the turret. But again, great move here from TT. Able to make something happen at the top side. We're able to trade back relatively okay in the bot lane. And now Sam D, he's going to be feeling pretty solid to kind of run around with this and, you know, run around with this like death Lulu, as I like to call, for patch and maybe impact the lanes a little bit.
Yeah, just moving away from bot side because TT are the team posturing to get this Rift Herald. Not a huge fan of this play for the side of TT. I would have liked if they just kept funneling resources onto Sam D rather than something like this, which is just like an immediate, you know, injection of gold whenever they do decide to use it, and not really worth, I think, splitting up the resources and the gold when you are the team that has this kog'maw that would benefit so greatly from just sitting in the bottom lane, picking up more CS and so forth. But TT are going to full commit to a full-on, like, map split. They realize, hey, we can't walk back towards bot. They're going to make this play up towards top side.
Yep, they are going to drop the Rift Herald straight away, so that will be Shelly getting the point. And this will actually bring the turret down to almost dead as well. You will have Nuguri popping into Gnar very shortly, so the Shelly burn him down just before he does. Even though he pops into it, it doesn't matter. They're going to give that one over to Sam D. Exactly what you talked about. They want to give resources to the Void Puppy, and the dogs got his bone.
Yeah, so they are at least winning out, but oh, nice kick from Doinb.
Whoa, Doinb, so well played, even between 2 towers and the shockwave. Doinb making it back for his team again and again. We cannot highlight this guy any higher than we do. As I say that, Xiaopeng goes in, and he's going to find himself 1 kill. Not able to get the other one, but does get Tien's flash, and that is a good reactive play here from TT. They're going toe-to-toe.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Because if we just compare the top play to the bottom side reaction to FPX, no one on TT is covering the bottom lane turret. So by default, TT are going to get more because they're able to pick up the kill on Nuguri. FPX adapting to that, move towards the mid lane. Doinb Lee sets up that pick onto Ye. But Xiaopeng with you know, nice awareness goes down to pick up that kill as well. We're going to see Tien initially able to force out the flash. Things look fine as of now. Doinb Lee misses the Q, but it doesn't matter. Goes with the ward hop into the kick. And it seems like the missed Sonic Wave kind of gave Ye a false sense of security. But doesn't matter. Xiaopeng was here. Doinb Lee was half HP. He has the damage to take him down and gets a summoner on top of it.
Yeah, it was kind of, you could clearly see the call there from Doinb Lee was like, oh, we're making this happen. You're not going anywhere, Tien. We are making this kill happen. And by hook or by crook, they did get it. Yep, Rocket Belt has been finished up, so that's with the 2 early kills there for Tien, able to make something happen. But I will say the 4 early kills and 2 early kills and 2 early assists for Xiaopeng. He is able to equal that one out with his own stride breaker. And we are starting to see the junglers be, again, those big focuses for both of these teams, really the big carries for them in this early game as they wait to try and see, you know, the kog'maws, the Gnars, and of course the Sennas with that first early item.
I just can't wait till we get the team fight where, you know, Xiaopeng ults and stride breakers to follow Lwx, and Tien just, you know, ults and rocket belts to get on the SamD, and we get to see, you know, which jungler and which peel setup is superior.
See what way it works out for them. I will say, for the side of TT, they have got the 2 kills onto their kog'maw, of course, so the kill distribution a little bit more in favor of the kog'maws. The gold is dead even, but there is 2 dragons now for the side of FPX. We saw how important those early stacks were in their first game. We'll see if they can make anything happen now in this second one, but yeah, it's going to be so difficult, really, for the side of TT to really make this, you know, stick right now. I feel like with the playmaking ability you have with the likes of Lee Sin, Diana, hell, even with a Tahm Kench with the Abyssal Voyage, you have a lot of ways of catching people out on side lanes. As Doinb Lee maybe thinking he could take on the Sett, but waiting for Tien, I think, is definitely the right call, as both junglers are hovering around for their solo laners.
Yeah, they both know what is going on right now, and with 1 turret to 1 turret, side lanes are open, and side lanes being open, I think overall favors FPX for the fact that, you know, Gnar and Lee Sin feeling quite content in the side lanes, where for Orianna, you're never really going to be able to over push or be threatened by Nuguri. Xiaopeng.
Ooh, not quite able to stick onto him. They do get the kick as almost goes down to Nuguri in the top side.
That's what we're saying, Penguin. The Orianna in the side lane. You are not comfortable sitting up there against the Gnar.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder for you to be able to do anything. The Gnar has just got so much ways of, you know, getting on top of you once he hits the Mega. A lot of your little poke damage gets mitigated once he hits the Mega, gets that extra little steroid of HP, and yeah, not looking too strong on this top side. Needs to try and find himself into team fights. Use that Nocturne paranoia on top of the Shockwave to maybe set up his team to maybe get the Nocturne, or excuse me, the kog'maw into a good place. But speaking of in good places, Tien is not in a good place. They're going to jump into it. There is the showstopper, but the Abyssal Voyage is enough to keep Tien alive. And you can see the TP's coming in. Langx going to have to get the wall growth on top of him. Can they get this Void Puppy going? Patch is there in the front lines as Langx does eventually fall down. We're going to see Lwx flashing away to try and get away from Xiaopeng, but SamD's moving forward. SamD is feeling confident, and they're on the wrong side of this fight now. SamD trying to see if he can catch people out, but he's got to be careful. There is going to be a Dragon's Rage kick available for Doinb Lee very shortly, and they do not want to get themselves caught out. They'll steal the red buff, which was the whole point of that entire play, but SamD on this kog'maw now has 4 kills.
Remember, Penguin, that after the initial cooldowns from FPX's comp come out, they actually don't have all too much to offer, right? Like, Tien uses ultimate, Doinb Lee Dragon Rage, and the full combo comes out. If Nuguri throws down his ult, it's like, hey, your only champion that's riding any bit of DPS is Lwx. So SamD gonna have a very easy time following up these kills. Xiaopeng might be caught.
Might be a little bit caught, but you can't let that fear come in. Now here's SamD trying to go for it. Oh, nicely done by Doinb Lee. Clean as you like, using the Nocturne to get him out of the situation. Chef's kiss, beautiful.
Yeah, that was just a really nice angle coming up from him, but FPX still want to punish. They're threatening a dive mid.
Yeah, are going to be maybe threatening this one. Samdi's not got a lot of mana right now, so it's going to be very difficult for him to go for something. As I say, that Samdi maybe in a better position to try and keep himself alive. I lied, TN on this backside. But we're going to see Crisp going to be able to go jump in, and they're going to swap that one out. So still Samdi able to get down the shutdown onto that Diana. TT really trying to fight this one back, but FPX, they will not let this one go. They know that they have the stronger players. They know they can make things happen if they just align all their ducks in a row. Speaking of which, we're not going to stop the action. It's got to keep going as they jump straight in on top of Nuguri, and he will fall. Langx picks himself up his second kill of the game, and it's all action all the time. This is the LPL, Jordan. We're well used to it now.
And me and you were asking for a bunch of scrapping before this game started, and we're getting it. I love that Chris was the true support in that moment. Flashes forward and devours Tien. Made it look like he wasn't going to go down, but in the end, he still did. We're going to get a replay of this, though. Q's in as the spell shield didn't come down in time. Follows in with the E, and then he just knows, hey, I can keep following up on this. Kicks him over the wall to safety. Gets another Sonic Wave. Follows in, and I mean, takes a sip of the water or coffee, whatever he's drinking right after. Just another day in the office. And then here was also so cool as well, right? Tien going in, finds the burst down onto members of TT. And then there's Crisp, goes in with the eat, but still spit right back out immediately. And Samdi able to find the kill with his passive.
Yeah, a little bit maybe preemptive with the spit out, and Samdi able with the passive. Probably the one time I've ever seen the passive work out very, very well. But top lane, Doinb does get himself a Rift Herald, pops it into the top side, and they're going to be able to take themselves their second turret of the game. They've got a 1,000 gold lead, and 10 seconds until this dragon spawns. Langx has got TP, but this is a TT. You know, they need to fight now, I feel like. They're going to fall too far behind in the dragon stacking again. They need to try and maybe stop this stack as quick as they possibly can.
Yeah, and we see that members of FPX are already here, right? Nuguri's made his way over. Doinb made his way over after dropping a Rift Herald. Langx does have TP if they decide to contest, and it looks like they almost cut out Nuguri. Oh, Penguin, look at the big flank from Langx.
He's going for it. He's going to go for the showstopper to end all shows. They're going to go and jump in on top of this. Going to use the strike breaker, bring everyone back in onto this fight. We're going to see the ultimate out from the Senna as they jump in now with the paranoia. So that's a lot of sustain out of this fight. You're going to try and see Sam D getting jumped on. He gets wild growth on top of him, but it's all the shockwave is massive. But they got the kog'maw. Now the damage is severely mitigated. It's Tien, it's Doinb, it's the jungle mid combo, double on triple. It's a full house for FPX, and they are back in the game.
I can't believe they were able to actually pull that off. Lwx got picked off almost immediately by Xiaopeng, and yeah, but Nuguri found the angle onto Sam D, gets the ultimate instantly. Tien and Doinb following up as Doinb 3,500 assists. Sounds good, but man, that was an insane angle by FPX to find, and TT a little bit, you know, giving it over to them, but great capitalization.
Want to say best 0-5 Gnar I've ever seen in my life. Watch Nuguri in this fight. Nuguri has eyes for only kog'maw, and he just stops the DPS for so damn long.
And we see, like, again, the fight starts off TT favored. Xiaopeng finding his way onto Lwx, but look at Sam D trying to walk forward, and Otto gets instantly ulted by Nuguri, and then Doinb and Tien just like instantly know at the snap of the fingers we go in, and then there's all the DPS down for the side of FPX. And the fact that TT's members were so grouped as well led to where they were able to take the fight so decisively, and it didn't matter that Ye was still up, you're just left by yourself.
Exactly, you know, he was still up, but he got immediately exhausted by Crisp. His damage was severely mitigated. There was just not really a lot he could do about it. Now FPX got themselves out of nowhere, 4,000 gold lead, sole point in 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and they're looking towards maybe pushing. We haven't even got Baron for them, and this is the FPX that we thought would come in game one. We thought this would be the style they would go for, this, you know, quick, aggressive pushing forward as Langx gets hit by a boulder and now knows that Nuguri is around. They're trying to go for something, but look at the mid lane, look at the minimap. This is just going to be a very easy kind of time now for TT to be able, or sorry, for FPX to be able to push in TT into their base.
And now the thing is, I think Doinb and Tien are so far ahead, but we need to pause.
We do need to pause. Flash burnt there by Nuguri keeps himself safe, but that's the paranoia down. Now FPX know they can go a little bit more aggressive. They can push a little bit further forward. They can start taking down these tier 2s, start making these long lanes a little bit longer, and this is going to be great with the Baron spawning in 30 seconds.
I mean, we look at items coming out for Tien and Doinb, both of them. I mean, Doinb a straight up item above, yeah, and Tien about half a component above. Oh, see, immediately when the engage comes out, you're going to force out flashes, because the end of my point was going to be they have so much burst together. If they dive on any of TT, they are just dead. So TT very clearly recognizing that.
I was going to say TT clearly understanding that as well as they move forward into this. And yeah, needs to be so careful. Does not have a flash anymore. Trying to see if he can just push back at arm's length. Patch as well needs to be in a little bit of a... little bit scared of that bush. It's a very scary bush, the Fnatic Death bush, as they look to see it. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah! As they jump straight in on top of him with the Senna and the Tahm Kench ultimate. It's as easy as that. Patience is a virtue, my friend Lyric, and that was a very patient Doinb.
I mean, Doinb was patient. Lwx also extremely efficient, gets an assist while taking the red buff. And FPX say, hey, what is a better time to Baron than we kill the enemy mid laner? Our top laner is about to have Mega. He has his ultimate available. Doinb might be caught out in the mid lane, though, but it's going to get away. But now we see, Penguin, do TT respond?
I don't think they really can. They are going to maybe try and go for this one, but I think it might be a little bit too little too late. Paranoia going to go in. They're going to jump in. They're going to try and go. TT get the Baron, and they get the showstopper on top of it. It's going to be Langx. We salute you, sir. The honorable sacrifice on top of the Baron steal, and the rest of TT get out clean.
All they needed, Penguin, was the English broadcast that they've never listened to, never heard of, to yell at them to do it. They needed to know that the confidence, that the belief was there. And I believed. I believed it was going to happen. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I believed TT were going to pull through. They did it. I'm a genius, and yeah, back to
results-based analysis for the win.
True.
But now 10 seconds. You've got the Baron now for 4 members of TT. You have a teleport here for Langx as they look to maybe try and stop this Ocean Soul. This is a big one here for the side of TT. TP coming in. This Dragon is going to be taken very low very quickly. They're going to have to try and go for it again. Paranoia not quite back up just yet. He goes in. Stolen again.
He does it again.
Xiaopeng has your number, TN. And now the fight can really begin. We're going to see the Paranoia use. Shockwave only landing down onto Chris. There's going to be Nuguri with a fantastic Gnar ultimate. You may have Baron, you may have stolen the dragons, but you will not have this fight. Nuguri is just a monster in this game.
Man, the fact that he gets set so far behind, kept both games, and still finding massive impact despite so many deaths is huge. And Doinb isn't done here. Gets another one. That's the decisiveness coming out from FPX.
They were done with the shenanigans. They were like, all right, you're getting a bit too hypey for our likes right now, TT. You got yourself a Baron. That's one thing. But a Dragon and then the team fight? No. And that is just a massive move there for FPX to get themselves a nice bit of gold injection. It does still stop the Dragon stacking for TT, so they got their objective, but their Baron play is effectively null and void. They do not get any benefit out of that. It is more of a denial than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Still, though, 8K gold lead for their side, right? They feel completely fine going forward with this match state. Though I do want to highlight, Sam D still a massive threat. Doesn't have his flash up, but Sam D might not matter right now because Ye is probably dead.
Yeah, is dead. He is definitely dead, and this is just such a fantastic display here from Tien and Doinb. 8-1-8, 8-1-7, almost identical in their scorelines. And two people there, you can see there, Langx and Xiaopeng, they're running away. They're running for the hills. They cannot deal with Doinb on this Lee Sin. And having a look at Lwx, he's got himself almost 100 souls, so he is going to be starting to ramp up very nicely. I believe he's on 97. As soon as this red buff gets taken down, it should be on 98. And this game feels all but done, but I can't say that right now because TT, they're holding on by their fingernails.
TT at least, you know, have a decent amount of wave clear coming out with both kog'maw and Orianna on the composition. We have seen punished quite a bit just by the amount of dive able to come out from their composition. Xiaopeng just going to come in, smite that away, say that is mine, Sir Tien not even getting a chance to smite. Sam D going to get chunked pretty low, though. Looks like from Lwx. He's actually going to be able to flash out and avoid. It doesn't even need to flash, just walks out of the Gnar ultimate. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Nuguri hits the ult on everyone else. Doesn't matter if the kog'maw survives, if everyone else is dead. And, yeah, Nuguri keeping the hopes and dreams of the FPX hopeful alive.
Yeah, you can see Doinb's determined. Doinb is really aggressive right now, you know, and I suppose an attitude switch or swap was what was kind of needed from after the game one. Yes, they won, but it wasn't really in the manner they would like to have. And Doinb's feeling it. He's looking for aggressive plays. He's looking to push forward. He's not playing Mr. Nice Guy anymore. And they're going to jump straight in on the Sam D. And he's not done yet. Him and Tien comboing this Lee Sin Diana combination. It's a 4-man ultimate for the Shockwave, but you don't have your kog'maw anymore. You don't have a way of getting any damage down to stick. And that's going to be an easy retreat now for FPX.
I love the fact that Doinb and Tien just are at the point of like, yo, we're 9-1, we're 8-1. If we get on this kog'maw together, he is just gone. It doesn't matter if anyone else is around, they do it. And Doinb's still going. He has so much protection coming in from the Tahm Kench Devour, from the sustain from Lwx. They can keep pushing in this mid lane. Nuguri has a way for bot side right behind him as well if FPX just want to start pivoting and turning down there as well. But Sam D is about to be up.
With Sam D coming back, they can't really risk it again, but they do get what they wanted. They got themselves the inhibitor. They've got a minute now until the Baron, a minute until the Dragon Soul pops up again. You have not got 3 items onto your kog'maw just yet. Still waiting for the Navori Quick Blades to finish up here as we look at the replay. And this is just Sam D just walking forward. You know it's coming, buddy. Just straight up an unforced error.
I mean, that was a nice route coming out from Lwx to start it all up. And Doinb follows in. Tien goes in with his ultimate. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's done and dusted right there. So like you said, Sam D walking up. And Lwx just finding a nice time to land the route.
All right, 30 seconds. Where do you make your line? Where do you draw your line in the sand, TT? You need to find yourself a position. What do you see?
I also just noticed that, you know, Lwx did not go the normal Senna build, right? We typically have Divine Thunder or Senna almost every single game now, but instead opting back into that Kraken Slayer kind of shows how little of the focus he has been in this game with how much the other 3 topside members have been popping off. And speaking of topside, Doinb's going right back at it.
They're going to go in. They have got the paranoia. Xiaopeng, they have one. Oh, no, not quite able to get in, but he's going to use his paranoia to get himself out. That is the Ocean Soul here for the side of FPX. And you can see they are not done. They are trying to keep pushing forward. Doinb, a man on a mission, demented on this Lee Sin to make this game work. He does get the Dragon Rage for the engage, and now they can keep pushing forward. The Shockwave only lands onto 1. This game is done. Doinb is just determined. Look at his eyes. He's crazy, pushing forward, does not care. He is a man with only 1 goal, and that goal is to win 2-0 with FPX. They will take themselves the win. They will go up and bounce back after their loss. And Doinb was very much going to be the MVP of the series for me. He was determined to win.
I mean, he was the member we highlighted that we wanted to see take charge, take the lead in beating down TT, and he definitely did that. You can see they were not happy after the first game win, and even now, you know, they don't look all too ecstatic. Probably still, you know, rearing over that defeat they had the other day against LNG, but still, win's a win. They got the job done. This time around was a lot nicer, and it's so weird to think. Wasn't Sam D 5-1 at one point in that game? Am I crazy?
Yep.
I think Sam D was 5-1 at one point in that game, and I think he ended 6-6 or something like that. Just FPX.
Something, yeah.
After that one fight where Nuguri was able to find that massive ultimate onto him, it's like they just never let go of their control over the game.
No, and again, I gotta, you know, yes, it's a win. It's a 2-0. TT, a lot of positives to take from that series. I think Xiaopeng looked fantastic. I think Patches looked the best we've seen him so far this split, and really kind of pushing forward to kind of maybe make this SamD patch bot lane work. But for FPX, honestly, like, again, we talked about it at the start of the day. Success means very, very different things for these guys. Doinb's got a smile. You can see he's trying to build up the momentum and build up a little bit of energy for his team. But that wasn't the performance we expected to see in this matchup. We said it right before we came into it. This should have been FPX absolutely stomping. Game 1 took a lot of energy out of them. And Game 2, the first few minutes of it, again, very, very shaky, very, very dodgy. Yeah, it was down to Tien and Doinb bringing it back. But I do feel like Doinb was just an absolute monster. You could see how intent he was in those last few skirmishes of like, I'm winning this game and there's nothing you can do about it.
And you could just see, like, again, there's like very small things in FPX's gameplay throughout where it causes issues. We hit on some of like their ways of like reacting to tempo or trying to cross map on the opposite side and typically coming out behind on those trades. Then we saw this game the problem with the dive bot where they ended up giving over kills. That's not to take away from FPX's win, right? Because at the end of the day, it was standout, it was pop off. But I think it's to highlight that there are still little holes that FPX are trying to figure out. I think the overall benefit is, after the amount of series we've seen, I think we can massively come to the conclusion that this meta is quite nice for FPX and is allowing their best members to be the ones that are shining and taking over games. So yeah, definitely some, I think, positives and negatives to come out with for FPX. This one will be a nice little bit of, I don't want to say morale boost, because, right, like, even ignoring like fan or broadcast or anyone's expectations, if you think about it from FPX's angle, they probably think, hey, you know, we should win this, so they're not going to take away too much from it. But still a little bit of a boost that they can take from walking forward. And the fact that Lee Sin did the most damage in this game is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, he was a man demented. He had an idea, and that idea was to be realized regardless of whoever thought was, you know, what was going to happen. He was so determined to take the win today that he will make it by hook or by crook. And for FPX, you know, great win for them, of course. It does put them up in the standings again onto a 3-1. So, you know, obviously not the most perfect start to the season that they probably wanted, but still a nice little kind of booster before their next few series, because next week FPX go up against WE, then they go up against RNG, and RNG are kind of like going to be rolling back into the likes of the season after having an extended break because of quarantine after MSI wins. So it doesn't get that much easier for FPX, and you know, this is a big win for them to kind of push forward towards that middle part of the split.
Yeah, definitely. FPX, I think, I feel like for FPX, we've seen a lot of what we've seen over the years. There we go. That's the point I'm trying to look for, is that, like, they're still relying on the same strengths, even if they are utilizing it in different areas, right? It might not be 2019 of just dive bot, but like the crutches of this team and like the mid-jungle support, how they look for skirmishes early on, how they play around certain vision and side lane plays is still very much true. And obviously, Doinb's going to be the MVP. I don't think anyone doubted that. And I mean, just overall deserve. This guy was a man on a mission today.
He was 100% deserving of the win of the MVP today. And again, this is just FPX kind of, you know, centered around this one player in the sense of like, this is their star. Yes, you have Nuguri on this team and he is playing fantastically. Ooh. Don't get me wrong, but
why are we showing this, Penguin? Why are we showing this?
Yeah. He got a kill. That's all that matters. This is the one that I like. This is again, man on a mission. It doesn't matter what he missed, what he hit. He was making a play happen because he needed to. And this is just a combination between the two players. And I think that when you look at FPX, I think the big thing that we can come out of this is their top side of the map is terrifying. Nuguri, Tien, and Doinb all played fantastically this series.
I 100% agree. I think even Crisp had good moments. So,
yep.
You know, FPX overall doing fine. They're still keeping Lwx on champions that he's able to perform the role that's needed of him for this FPX roster. And, I mean, that one as well. You know, you said it's not cheese. I still think Bush plays are a little bit cheesy, but hey, there's actually nothing wrong with cheese. Actually, a big fan.
I love cheese. Yeah, I love cheese, man.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. No one's saying it's wrong. No one's saying it's bad. You know, a little bit cheese.
But there's a connotation. There's a tone. There's a tone when people say, "She's like, oh, it was cheese. Like you didn't get it properly." You
Okay.
Cheese.
If they say it like that, but if they say like, "Yo, that was some cheese," you know, like. Yeah.
I want Nelson to in an interview or something. It's like, man, the cheese, just